So, in today's linguistic lesson, we will conclude our section about the introduction for syntax with the real examples. So, starting with constituency and substitution in English. So, in the sentence, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox behaves as a unit. We can substitute it. It jumped over the lazy dog, showing noun phrase constituency. Now, word order variation. As you may know, English is predominantly subject, verb, object. Alice eats apples. Japanese, on the other hand, is subject, object, verb. Alice ga ringo o taberu. And classical Arabic allows verb, subject, object. Since I can't speak Arabic yet, I will do an English equivalent. Ate Ali the apples. Word order differences affect how arguments and adjuncts appear and how movement for questions or focus is expressed. Speaking of movement and questions. English WH questions involve movement. Underlying you saw who, surface who did you see. A trace or copy remains where who originated. Some languages instead use in situ WH words and rely on intonation or particles. For example, in Japanese, we have the particle ka, but also the possibility to raise the tone at the last moda of a sentence to make it a question. This is more for the casual speech though. Anyway, next the passive and alternation. Now, the active, the chef cooked the meal, alternates with passive, the meal was cooked. By the chef. The by chef, so-called by agent, is not always necessary. So, syntactic roles change. Object becomes subject, which affects agreement and case marking. Not so much in English though. There is not much case marking left, isn't there? Also very important, agreement and ungrammaticality. In she cook, the lack of agreement marking yields an ungrammatical sentence in standard English, because the verb form does not match the subject's person number, because it would be she cooks. One of the few times we actually have an agreement in English. Next we have the garden path sentences, or processing meets syntax. Now, the sentence, the old man, the boats. At first glance, it seems ill-formed, but parsing reveals man as a verb and the old as the subject. A striking example of how syntactic ambiguity challenges incremental parsing. We also have island constraints. You see, certain extractions are simply impossible. Compare, who did you say that Mary saw? This one is acceptable. With who did you wonder whether Mary saw? This one is less acceptable due to the WH island effects. These constraints reveal limits on movement. Then we have case and ergativity. In nominative accusative languages, like English, subjects of transitive and intransitive verbs pattern together. She runs, which does not take an object, so it is intransitive, and she sees him. Here we do need him as the object to fulfill the grammaticality here, so it is transitive. In ergative languages like Basque, the subject of a transitive verb is marked differently, well, ergative, than the sole argument of an intransitive, aka absolutive, producing different alignment patterns that reshape syntactic analysis. And lastly, coordination ambiguity. I saw the man with a telescope and a hat can mean the man had both items, or that I used a telescope and the man had a hat. Structure determines interpretive scope. So, these examples show syntax's reach. It explains why some strings are grammatical, why sentences can mean different things, and how languages carve up the possibilities of human expression. Now, of course, this is only at the surface. Syntax goes much deeper. For example, there are different constituency tests to find out if something is a constituent or not. What I showed you is the replacement technique, where you're taking a constituent and replacing it with a pronoun. In this case, we had it for the quick brown fox. But again, this is just one of many tools you have as a syntactician to find out if something is a constituent or not.